Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Lohse. This is our daily pitching preview show, and we are welcoming back from vacation Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Everyone deserves a break. This is when you take it if you're in sports betting, right, Joe?
It was a working vacation. Look, I'm addicted to betting and handicapping. I didn't do some of the extra preparation for football season, but it was definitely a working vacation. While the family was sleeping, I was working.
All right. Well, next week we are going to be starting up some college football conference previews. I'm definitely looking forward to that, Joe Duffy. Historically, have you done well in college football?
Yes, and about those previews, one of the things that, from my standpoint, that'll be different than the cookie cutter ones that everyone's doing, I'm not necessarily as concerned about who's going to finish first, who's going to finish in last, but what teams are going to be overvalued, undervalued, both ATS and over-unders. And yeah, football has been fantastic for us over the years.
All right, well, everyone should look for that next week. And let's start out Sunday, July 12th, with two guys who have been very consistent this year. One guy consistently good, one guy consistently bad. Let's start with a bad, Kyle Lohse, right? It's just been a nightmare season, but, you know, he's maintaining his spot in the rotation. He's going to go on the road against the Dodgers. That's a dangerous team. Brett Anderson on the other side, not lights out, but solid. But if you just want to fade Lohse game in and game out, why would you not do it against again here on the road against the Dodgers with Anderson going for the Dodgers? What do you think, Joe?
If you ever want to have a bad pitcher pitching on the road, Dodger Stadium generally has a reputation for being a good pitcher's ballpark, but still, you really to go with Milwaukee at this point. Milwaukee's been playing a little bit better, so you might be able to make a good argument to go with Milwaukee, but not necessarily because of Kyle Lohse per se. So you basically have to say that the team statistics override Lohse. You're correct. Lohse has been pretty terrible at this point.
And then Wei Jin Chen for Baltimore, right? This guy, very consistent, very impressive, maybe a little bit under the radar. He's going to be at home going up against Washington, and Doug Fister showing some good signs, also some not so great signs, velocity a little bit down. If Fister's on, it probably goes, close into extra innings, close, low-scoring game late, where Baltimore might still have the advantage. If Fister's off, Baltimore takes it easy, right?
Yeah, and one thing that I do like over the years is going with a pitcher like Chen, where maybe before either the rest of the league and or the odds makers catch up to him, so he might be of some decent value. In the case of Washington, they start out a little bit of a disappointment, but right now I still think that Washington probably from this point on will likely have a positive units won, so I'm a little bit hesitant to go against Washington. I don't know if I see a huge edge in that game either way.
And then Houston and Tampa Bay, right? Matt Moore returned from injury, and his first two starts, all indications are that he doesn't have it. His minor league numbers were actually pretty decent. His velocity was a little bit down, though. Major league results have not been there. And on the other side, Lance McCullers has been great. We know that Tampa Bay's lineup is a little bit decimated, not that fearsome. Is there a big starting pitching edge here for Houston, as big as it appears on paper?
Probably. McCullers really like the Houston staff. He has been phenomenal this year. He's got a ERA of 2.16 and 58 innings pitched. One of the reasons why Houston has been a surprise this year. Some of their team, especially the pitchers, have really come along a little earlier than expected. Tough to go against McCullers at this point.
All right, and then the only other one I want to ask you about is the LA at Seattle, right? Andrew Heaney and Taijuan Walker, both these guys have been pitching very well. Heaney even pitched well at Coors. He handled Coors no problem. Now he comes into Seattle. We expect another strong start from him. And then Taijuan Walker finally had a bad start out last time, but before that, he had been excellent start in and start out. And despite that start from Walker last time, Seattle has still won his last 6 starts in a row. So do we expect maybe a strong start from both these guys here?
I'd be a little nervous about Walker. Remember, he's been streaky, came up highly touted, and he had his struggles. Seattle said, look, we know that he's a quality pitcher. They stuck with him. That more than paid off. But for these young guns, I always like to bet on inconsistency. And if anything, the fact that he's kind of come down to earth. Look, he is a highly touted pitcher. He's most likely going to be a 15, 16 game winner for many years to come. But a young pitcher coming off of a rough start, I'd be a little nervous with riding him. I would actually consider maybe betting on him for this streak a little bit in the negative direction coming off of a so-so start.
All right, but LA's pitcher's a young gun as well. You don't expect a regression from him?
Yeah, that is definitely true, and I think really it might be a percentage play to expect one of these guys to get roughed up, and perhaps leaning towards an over might be a pretty good play.
All right, well, that's an interesting take there, Joe Duffy. What else from the card for Sunday, July 12th would you like to bring to our attention?
I would say a potential Joe Duffy famous bubble burst situation here. As we know, Yovani Gallardo had been pitching lights out. He finally had his scoreless inning streak snapped. He's been a very solid pitcher career-wise, clearly a major league caliber, but he was pitching like Cy Young. I think there could be a little bit of a mental letdown, the fact that he finally had that streak snap, maybe some regression to the mean.
All right, Joe Duffy's website, offshoreinsiders.com. Next week, we're going to be starting our college football conference previews. Thanks so much, Joe.